All right, you guys, we are live in downtown Eugene at Togo's on Pearl Street. And what you see is a room full of people, business people in the community who are frustrated with lawlessness in our community. And we invited them down here to just talk amongst each other, share their stories, let people know what's going on. And they're going to make a little announcement here in a minute, and we're going to run around and kind of get some stories from some different people so you'll know what's going on and what's happening. But again, you're live at Togo's in downtown Eugene, and we're going to get this thing going. Stephen, right there, he is the owner of Elkhorn Brewery, and they were vandalized a few weeks ago, and $10,000 in damages. Togo's on West 11th was recently damaged to the tune of $2,000. Someone threw a rock through their window. So, go. I think you should make an announcement, Stephen.
If I could get everybody's attention for 1 minute. If I could just talk to everybody for a second. Oh no, you're good. We're gonna enjoy this sandwich with this young lady right here. Just playing. Anyway, thank you so much for everybody that showed up. We're here for Wake Up. Eugene, wake up. It's not about our complaints, even though you're going to hear a lot of complaints here today. It's about us organizing as a group to come together to help fix this problem that we have in our city. You know, I've only been in this city 10 years, but I consider myself a member of the community. I have a business here, and a lot of you have businesses here. We're not anti-homeless, we're anti-lawlessness. You know, the lawlessness has to stop. You know, we're getting shut down. Our businesses are getting destroyed. I mean, you're gonna hear from some people today, and I'll turn it over to Rick because I just want you to hear some of the stories. There's also some good things too. You know, I go feed some of the homeless, and they're good people. The homeless people are good people. It's the lawless people that are mixed in that's causing us all the havoc. So we got to get a handle on this lawlessness, and we're open for suggestions. And I'd like to pass around what I would have to say that Greg Evans contacted me, which I'm really proud of that. I finally got a councilman besides Mike. He always contacts me. But Greg contacted me, and he said he wants to fix this problem too. The first time, and the reason they're hearing us is because we're organizing. We're organizing. We got to keep this up. So if we could get this group 300 strong, I guarantee this city that we all love is going to hear us. So let's keep organizing. Don't let it be 1-2 meetings and it fizzles out. Yeah, it was good while it lasted. No, I'm hard-headed. I'm going to make this work, and I hope y'all become hard-headed too because our businesses are getting destroyed.
So what happened to you?
So everybody knows my business. I got Molotov cocktails. She did it twice. She did Manolas beside us. She did the Chulas as well. So same lady, mentally ill. She needs help for sure, and I want to get her help. But I know there's compassion. I have compassion for the homeless. Definitely have compassion for the homeless. But I also need some compassion for my 40 workers and their employees. Let's see some compassion for that. You know, let's come together as a community. This is so great. Like this, in 5 years, I feel like this is an awakening in this town, and I am so glad you guys are here. You guys are just making me happy to see y'all. And we can do this. We can make this work. And I just want to hear from some of y'all. Rick is here, and Rick is going to ask a few of you questions. I definitely want to hear from Red Apple, what happened to him. You know, this is Dean with Red Apple. We're hearing from a lot of businesses here today. There's going to be a little complaining, but I just want everybody to see how lawless this is. And I just want you to hear it. And if we have the homeless community represented too, I'd love to hear from you guys.
So my name's Dean Kahn. I'm a PIC at Bruns Red Apple Market. We are like a lot of you guys. We're privately owned. We can't eat the violence and the stealing and all that. Whitaker Block Party night. We had a fight right at the front door. I went out and all I said is, we can't do this right here. Somebody came up from behind me and hit me with a skateboard. I have a plate in my jaw right now, several $1,000s worth of insurance. or safe insurance. I have to go back in for surgery on January. We're like you guys. We have empathy for these people, but damn it, we can't lose money. So anyway, thanks.
All right, thanks.
Hey, John. John Anderson, come here. Bring the rock. So, you guys, again, we're at Togo's. This is so weird. I used to be on the news, and now the news is here. And thanks for being here. So, John, just get in front of me. And so John is a sponsor of the show, and he heard about Wake Up Eugene and said, I want to do this. I want to have these folks in here. We were not expecting all of you. We were expecting 10 people, and I think we got about 50 in here. So, John, tell me about this rock.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming down. We appreciate it. This is an issue that has been ongoing. I wrote a letter to the editor back in 2009 complaining about the problem downtown, and it is still a problem downtown. They've done nothing, and the city councilors that were on this council back then, that core is still on the council. And so, you know, I reach out to you city councilors to do something, because it's not going to go away if you don't do something. This rock found its way through a window at our West 11th and Seneca Togo's Monday night. About $3,000 worth of damage, plus what they came in and stole during the time. It's not just downtown, it's citywide, it's community-wide. You go across the river and they're not having the same problems. Go figure. That ought to answer some of your questions.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. We're all.
Who else? Anybody else want to talk? How about, really quick, can you come up here? I did my homework. So tell them who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name's Alex Casper. I've been bouncing in the downtown area for about 9 years now. I've worked for almost all of the bars downtown at some point trying to help out. I actually started a private Facebook page specifically to unify the security, to help try and keep the security safe from dealing with so many issues in the downtown area. The past couple years, I just see downtown getting progressively worse, and it's starting to get scary.
And you're a bouncer.
I am a bouncer, yes.
It's getting scary to you.
Yeah. So what's going on is the worse that the downtown area gets, people are starting to feel less safe. And when they start feeling less safe, I realize that people are starting to bring weapons and stuff with them, and we're having to deny more people with trying to bring firearms into a bar, and we're the ones that are supposed to go and stop these people from coming in. So it feels like it's just kind of in a downward spiral. I know the city has tried helping. They ended up getting a contract with the downtown guides for a little bit, and so they were actually patrolling on the weekends to try and clean up the area and stuff like that during the nights. We actually saw a lot of improvement when they were doing that, but I don't know what happened. Somehow they lost the contract, and now again we don't have anyone patrolling the streets.
Who's the new audience down there, like at night? You were saying at 2 a.m. Who's coming down there?
So I've definitely noticed it seems to be kind of a growing fad with some of the younger people. I know that the homeless, like there are people who genuinely need help, but it's starting to get flooded with people who are just coming down here to cause more problems, to sell drugs, to break things. I've definitely been seeing a younger audience. We've been having more like high school kids, like younger, like 15-year-olds, roaming around downtown around like 2 o'clock in the morning, just causing havoc and causing problems. But yeah, I wish things would change. I have so many people that I know who just don't feel safe anymore coming to the downtown area. So hopefully we can make some sort of ripple and cause the change that needs to happen. But yeah, so doing security work, I actually started my own security company as well. Security has always been a passion of mine. I like making people feel safe, so anything I can do to help, just let me know. Thank you.
Anybody else? Gary Marks. All right, my man.
Hi, I'm Chris Boyd with Dairy Mart. I'm a district supervisor for South Eugene and the Bonita stores. I went to the corporate office this morning, and I wanted to bring this because these are incident reports from our stores. This is only 10 stores out of 44. These are incident reports that were handed in just this week. what we do is we have, this is 1 week's worth. My stores are part of this pile. What happens is when we have an issue with a customer, the clerk at that time hits a no sale, so it's on the timeline, and then they fill out an incident report as to what happened, and then it gets handed in. I'm at my wit's end. We just had a really violent situation at Store 31 on Hilliard Street about a month ago, where this guy, he's been arrested, thank God, but he was menacing our clerks. He was coming in at closing. He even came in with a shovel, did racial epithets at one of my clerks, threatened with the shovel, walked out with several cartons of cigarettes, and then as he walked out, he turned around, he bashed the window in of the store. Now, a plate glass window that big, if you're a store owner, is almost $1,000 to replace. And then he came back, after that was replaced, he came back a couple nights later and broke the door window with a big rock. The rock that you see here, I'm sorry that happened to your location, but I don't know where they get these big rocks. At another store, a guy came in and blatantly stole some merchandise, walked out, the clerk shouldn't have followed him out, and was violently attacked. So our stores, as you know, opened 5 o'clock till midnight, 365 days a week. We have people who are scared to go to work. We have managers who sit out in their car and honk the horn until the people dispersed out in front of the store because they're afraid to go into the store. I'm at my wit's end.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So when you're talking about this, you're getting emotional. You're getting a little teary.
Agitated, to say the truth, because I just left one of my stores on 18th and Chambers. It's a drive up. And I asked some people to leave because the people who walk down that little roadway, alleyway to go to my store are afraid to go to the store. That store is really suffering right now. It's losing thousands of dollars a month. And it affects the income of a store. So I am agitated. I'm nervous. I'm at my wit's end as the district supervisor.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? So can I talk to you, but with the news, if you guys wouldn't shoot, just a second, the lady, you're all together? Yeah. Are you okay being on the news too? Okay, come here, please. Sorry. So you're with the house?
Hi, yeah, I'm part of Greek life, sorority, fraternal life here. I wasn't prepared to talk to you guys, but I think it's important. So we're part of the community. I'm a sorority house mom. So I have 50 college girls living in my house daily, and we have like 12 of them, 6 on one street. And we actually met as a group just last week to come up with an idea just like this, because we're trying to figure out how to protect and keep our girls safe.
So what do you she was telling me over there that you guys have to walk them out at midnight. You have to go check on it. I mean,
we're constantly on our video cameras. We have petty theft happening all the time, or very large damages to our building, to our gates, to our things that are enclosing our bicycles. Our college students are starting to feel unsafe where they live. And that's a really daunting thing when you have all these college students that are feeling unsafe in the home that they live in because of what's happening outside of our houses. We literally just this week, we've called U of O PD multiple times. We had some guy that jumped in the backyard at a sorority and was trying to toss bicycles up over a fence. But we have a sorority house mom that lives there, and her bedroom window is right next to this guy that's trying to do this. I mean, we have much more than that. We have stories just like the Dairy Mart guy all the time that's happening up on 13th, Hilliard, Alder, by the 7-Eleven on 13th. So
why don't people speak up?
Well, I'm kind of wondering I didn't know what this meeting was going to be about, but I'm wondering why isn't there a representative from the city or the city police here. Is there?
I could do that. Mike, come
Okay.
here. No, thank you. You're great at just bringing to the next thing.
Our girls are scared. I mean, I can tell you that firsthand. Our college students here at U of O are frightened. Yeah.
And I'm the one that has to go out at midnight because the girls are parked in their own home, in their own parking lot, and I have to escort them into the house because there's so many people walking around. And we've had thousands of dollars worth of damage. And that's our job as house directors, is safety and security for our girls. Like, I'm not scared, and I've had to pick up needles all the time. No job have I ever had to go buy what are those containers for needles.
So can I ask you another thing?
Yes.
You were not going to go on camera, and you just went on camera. Why?
So annoyed. It's just going on, and there's nobody doing anything. I called the police because there was a man, he was really scary. I think he had mental issues, and he had a weapon. He had this big, long metal stick. And so when I called the police, they said, well, where is he? And I said, well, he's going down the street now. And they said, well, he's gone. Nothing we can do. So this is our job, and we need to keep our girls safe. We take this to heart. If something happened to one of my girls, I don't know what I'd do. So I'm just frustrated. We need to figure this out together. So.
All right, good. Mike, come here, please. All right. Let's hear from. Okay, and Mike has a cold, so please.
I'm just on the other side of a cold. I'll try and speak so I can be heard, but I usually have a loud voice anyway.
So you guys, if you don't know, Mike Clark is a city councilor here in Eugene. I'm just telling my audience and these people in case they don't. But and I think you're the only one from the city here.
Well, and I want to say, too, that I didn't come prepared to speak. I came prepared to listen. I wanted to hear what people had to say. I can talk all day about things I've tried to do and what I think we ought to do at the city council. But what's really important is hearing your voices. I can tell you that as someone who's been a member of the council for 13 years, every second and fourth Monday night, we have a public forum where the public can come and speak. And I can see at least 3 people in this room, 4, I think, who I know have spoken at our public forum. But every single week, we'll have 30 or 40 people who will be speaking about issues that I would say encourage my colleagues to treat people differently than what I'm hearing you say, and to treat this problem differently than what I'm hearing you say. You're getting outspoken, is what I'm saying. And it's time to do this to my colleagues on the council. Every other Monday night, 2nd and 4th, at 7:30, you can come and speak for 3 minutes at a public forum. And I promise you, my colleagues aren't hearing this message in this level of strength. I proposed 2 months ago the idea of mimicking the Springfield ban on handing money out of cars at intersections to panhandlers. And that got voted down 6-2. The majority of my colleagues, I would say, I'm trying to be nice and be fair, treat the issues around this issue more as a problem of providing enough services than a problem of enforcement. And I think that your focus on lawlessness is correct. I think that if your focus is on the behavior rather than the condition of people, you get a better response, especially from council, and I think that's very smart. These kind of behaviors you're talking about aren't acceptable. They're just not.
Can I ask you a question, Mike?
Yeah.
So what do you say to the people that have gone to a city council meeting? They stand up and say something. There's people in the background mimicking them, making fun of them, and nothing is said from the council or anyone else to stop that, to allow all kinds of people to talk in those meetings. So they go away frustrated because they don't come back, and that's why people do not go to those meetings.
I don't know if she's probably not going to want me to point her out, but there's a person in this room who got up and spoke at a city council meeting about just the concerns you're talking about. And she got mocked and shouted down by the audience members a little bit.
So why isn't that stopped?
And the mayor didn't say nothing. It's the only time in 13 years that I lost it at the table, and I yelled. And that's not the sort of behavior I usually do at a council table. I've never done it before. But it was just over the line. My colleagues need to hear more from other people in the community, more varied voices, the kinds that are in this room right now, the backbone of our community, the people that work for a living and make the businesses work. They need to hear from you frequently about the realities you're facing, because they're making decisions based on the kind of inputs they're getting, and they're not the kind expressed in this room. So every second and fourth Monday, this next time is a Tuesday because we got Veterans Day on Monday. But on Tuesday night at 7:30, there's a public forum. Get there early a little bit so you can sign up. And you can speak for 3 minutes on anything you want. And I promise you, if this kind of strength and this kind of voice shows up at the council meeting and tells my colleagues the stories that I'm hearing here, you have an opportunity to get a different kind of response from that. So I would encourage you to do that.
Sure.
Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate that. Good afternoon. I'm Ann Easterly. So I'm a commercial banker, and I work for Washington Federal, and our company just spent over hundreds of thousands of dollars to move our business in the heart of Eugene, because we believe in what the business and the individuals in this community stand for. We also believe in economic strength. I'm not here, though, as a commercial banker. I'm actually here as a friend of Stephen, because I've seen how hard he and his wife work. I know how hard all of you work, and we need to be the voice, we need to be the advocate for the business. I apologize I did not bring a card, but please send your contact information to EugeneWakeUp2019@gmail.com. That's how we're collecting our voices. That's how we're going to be communicating about the meetings. I think it's so important to attend those city council meetings. We did just a couple weeks ago, all wearing our t-shirts, but we need to do it in this mass. And I think if we get behind the strength of all of you in the room, get behind the strength of the message, and do it in a very proactive and positive way, we are going to make that change, and our voice will be heard. So please send your contact information, and then as well there's the Facebook page too, because yes, EugeneWakeUp2019@gmail.com. Send your contact information. You'll get on the we'll be sending out all the communications, and you'll be on our address list. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you bet.
Hey guys, a couple more. One, and then, because I don't want to take, John has to do business here too. Come on up. Hey? Okay, hold on just a second.
Yeah, my name is Richard Walker. We own property here in Eugene, city of Eugene, and we're dealing with the homeless people right now that have moved off West 11th to our property, and we've talked to the police and the city councilors or the city, and they gave us our only option was fill out a 6-page report, a permit for $250 to put planters in there so they can move them out of there. We had here about 2 years ago a problem with the sidewalk, and the city told us we had to repair the sidewalk and replace a tree. That cost us, I think, Jennifer, what, $2,500 or something like that, around $2,000. And they said we were responsible for all that property in there, but now we can't do anything with the homeless people there. They're in that area. They're not supposed to be, but we are legally responsible for them. If anything happens, if anybody gets hurt or anything like that, the public, believe it or not, the people that own those buildings are responsible for that area there. And their solution is pay $250 to get a permit to put in planters, which will probably cost another, what, Jennifer, maybe $2,000 or $3,000 to put planters in there. And then we can keep them out of there. So, you know, we're going through it right now, and it's really frustrating. And that's all I have to say.
Let's grab you, and then I'm going to grab the gentleman over here, okay? I will get you. Okay. Well, you know what? Do you want me to come to you, or do you want to come up here? I can come up here. You come right up here, my man. Tell them who you are.
I'm Richard Self, and I'm with House Everyone, and Mike might say I'm on the other side of the fence, but...
We don't have a fence here.
Yeah, but exactly. Thank you, Rick, because this is not an us versus them situation. We have, in the midst of you right now, a lot, well, not a lot, but some representatives of the unhoused community that are just as upset about what you're talking about as what's going on right now. We don't lawlessness and all this stuff that's going on, vandalism. I can tell you different reasons for it, but we don't condone it in any way. There are people out there with mental health issues that need help. We have a huge population of both youth and adult homeless people. A lot of this could be rectified by having such things as a day center, a navigation center, at least one to start with, so that we could get people starting to be housed and off the street. And no, there's always going to be that element. It's distressing to hear that this is more of a youth element. I would like to share my contact information with you or anyone in this room. Again, I'm with House Anyone, and we will have people with Carry It Forward, one of our organizations, or any other organization we can put together to come out at 2 o'clock in the morning and see what we can do to help you people. This is not something that we condone either. Yes, there needs to be more affordable income-based housing. There needs to be this, that, and the other. This homeless situation is just completely out of control. I was homeless myself, but none of that excuses what you people are going through. So this should not be happening.
So is it possible, do you think, to do something about lawlessness? And so, wouldn't it be awesome? Here's what I was talking about earlier. Wouldn't it be awesome if instead of all these businesses spending all this money, we have right now between he and John $13,000 that we could be putting into directly helping with mental health services? Isn't that what we should be putting our money?
One of the main, yes, that woman that vandalized the restaurant over there on West 11th and Garfield twice, obviously had issues. A lot of that would help if we're finding out exactly the individual's mental health crisis and so forth. Those who are in addiction need housing first. However, I'm here to also say, especially, who is the business owner that has that restaurant at West 11th and Garfield? Is that you?
I'm on Hilliard and
Okay, well, I came as a representative here to say to all of you and to that gentleman, I'm sorry. Okay? Nobody has ever come out to this guy and said, I'm sorry, and he feels alone. Don't feel alone. I don't think you should be paying for a plant, $250 or anything to do this. That's not what the city should do. The city should be involved in this. But folks, realize we've been going with the status quo on this homeless thing for a while now. The police, this, that. Has it stopped anything? Has it made anything different? No. So the status quo is not working. Maybe we should try some of the suggestions from my side, like a day center and a nav center and a 75-bed low barrier shelter, and stop saying, not near me.
Do you think we could do that and also crack down a little bit on behavior that's going on that is causing people money? Is there a happy medium in there somewhere where people who are complaining, or, and I hate to use that word, but it's just are saying something about it, don't get made into the bad guy? Because I really like that you came here and that you are brave enough to walk into this room. You don't look like you have any bravery issues to me, but that you come in here and because we would not know. And so this is what we need, is to be having this conversation with folks like you and folks like these people, because this is the only way it's going to get done. But can we do that to stop some of the lawless behavior? Is there a way to do that and still be kind and all that?
Absolutely, and I can bring you droves of people. My friend Otis is in this room. I have right behind me, here's Simone from House Everyone. These people are just some of the representatives that can tell you right now, we have no condonement for this. And if I talk to Carry It Forward, if I talk to some of our organizations that are associated with homeless and let them know what's going on, we'll see what we can do to assist you, to assist all of you. This is not, even if it is a mental health issue, nobody should be throwing that through anybody's window or causing all this damage or doing all of this stuff. I'm not for that either. And yes, there needs to be a meeting in the middle. Let's just realize, folks, this is not us versus them. Let's come together as a community. Because like Rick said, there's no fence. But I apologize on behalf of all the homeless for any of this that happened to any of you. And I don't think I'm being brave. I think it's just a part of, let's come together, folks, and let's do this. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Do you want to say something? wrap this
Okay.
up because John really needs to sell sandwiches.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell them who you guys are.
My name's Otis Root, and I'm one of the urban nomads in this city. This has been home base for off and on for 30 years, and I want you to know that I want you to know that I do apologize for the lawlessness. Okay, it's not an acceptable way of acting, and I hope you recover well. I hope you do well in your business. But we are your neighbors, and we do purchase things. We're your customers, and I'd like you to be very, very careful when as you go through this, as you deal with this, to not create a volatile situation where people are being hurt on the street simply because they don't have a place to go. Thank you.
Hi. You do? Okay, I'm Simone, and I have been homeless before. I actually became homeless. The most significant time was in 2008 during the recession. I was a dryer puller at the mill. I was pregnant. I pulled dryer at the mill my entire pregnancy. I have 4 children, a grandchild. I have 2 living at my home. I also deal with these people. I live off West 11, and I deal with the unhoused that are really scary also, you know, being a single woman with my children and whatnot. And so, yeah, I can see how everybody's scared and how you feel and really, I also have mental health issues. So I know a lot of the problem is people who struggle with mental health. There's a lot of people out there who come from foster care, believe it or not. If you were to go and take a toll and actually ask people, I'm talking adults, like grown adults, like 50 years old, ask them their story. A huge majority of them have aged out of foster care. So that's a big thing. So I'm just trying to let people see that there's a story behind the struggle. And I think proactive solutions would be something like working with your prior homeless people or your current homeless people that are more in check with their mental health, and create a street team that can go out before the problem starts. These people that are now housed that have been homeless, or there are people that are homeless like Otis, who's sound, and he is Native American, so in his indigenous ways, that's how he prefers to live, and I think that that's okay if he's not creating a problem for someone else. Because I'm telling you, these street people who are doing this to you, a lot of them, it is mean, vindictive, drug-induced behavior. A lot of it's mental health, and you know, it's not cool. It's not okay. This is not what we want for our city, housed or unhoused. So I feel like a solution would be gathering some street people or prior street people, maybe even working with some of the business owners to create a cohesiveness of healing. Because what you're saying, this guy with the thing on West 11th, that's ridiculous. Like, why should you have to pay for that? All that money should be going to, like they're saying, navigation centers, or what I like to call resource center, where somebody can go and find out about mental health services, find out about, you know, whatever's holding someone back, specifically drug addiction, which is a lot of healing through people turn to drugs because they can't deal with their mental health. So there we go. Okay, anyway. So, and again, we apologize for, you know.
Let's wrap up with you and then Stephen, and then you guys can...
My name's Sandy Little, and I own Metzalona across the street. One of the things that was made very clear to me when Steve presented this is not a battle against the homeless. In no way, shape, or form. It's more an issue of us not losing 8% of our business to the north side of Ferry Street Bridge, which is becoming the center of Eugene. The Oakway Mall is really because of those concerns. Now, there are a couple of things that I think we could really use Mike's help with, which is to reinvigorate some of these things that Springfield did that seemed to be very effective. The non-panhandling out the door. And I was at the meeting on Monday, Tuesday, and Steve spoke very eloquently about that. But we can be this multiple points of light, or we come as one big flashlight. And when we stand up and speak at the city council, we talk about that. They sunsetted the no loitering with your dog in downtown, and I don't know why we sunsetted that. That didn't seem to make any sense to me. So let's pull that sunset off and let's show up at city council with proposals and speak about it and get those things going through. But I want to make it very clear, we're very sympathetic to the challenge of homelessness. And I'm also sympathetic to the city of Eugene. You think of the number of things they've tried to do, closing down the mall, reopening the mall, that re-energizing of downtown. What I heard was there'll be lots more people down now, and those people that are just hanging out, they'll head elsewhere, and that simply didn't happen. We need to pick up those things that worked in Springfield, those things that have worked in Corvallis, those things that have worked even in Oakland in California, and bring those together and come with sort of a unity of thought and unity of idea, because it seems much more likely that those things can get through city council. Dealing with the homeless problem, I have no idea. That is an intractable and difficult problem that has many more large impacts and many more existential issues involved with it. And we as business owners, that's not really, as community members, yes, but as business owners, that's kind of not our thing. I'm not saying I don't want to be involved in that, but I can't spend 6 hours of my day or 4 hours of my day dealing with that. I can spend one. Well, and I do. All of our leftover food goes to the mission. And anyway, I won't go on and on, but I think Mike is going to be a really good source for us to know how to address the city council and how to talk to the city council and maybe try to move some of this stuff forward. So
awesome. So just to wrap it up real quick, so I'm really glad the advocates for homeless came. I'll be happy to take some time out of my weeks every week to meet with people like you that want to have a street group to police your own, your group. What I'm having a problem with is not you guys. I went and interviewed 25 people from the tent cities that are in front of Berg's and in front of his place. Not one of them were like you. They didn't want street. They wanted to tear stuff up. They wanted to do drugs right in front of me. That's the lawlessness that I'm addressing, not what you guys are talking about. I love you guys. I'm so glad you came. I'm for you guys. I want to help you guys. It's that lawlessness that's going to stop, and we're going to come together as a group, and it's going to stop.
So much like Dallas, I have a security background. I have over 20 years experience in security, and I've seen a steady decline in the Eugene area of crime. It doesn't matter if it's homeless or
basically talking about what can be done. And so yeah, thank you to Togo's for sponsoring this, because John and Taylor and the gang, they care about the community and what's going on out here, and they provide a space like this for us to be able to do that. So get involved. Go find the Wake Up Eugene Facebook page, like it, get involved, and don't just complain. This is not anti-anything except anti-lawlessness. That's what we're out to stop. All right, thank you. Have a good day. Share this on your page, please. I know it's been long, but you know what? This has probably been one of the best conversations I've heard in Eugene in a long time.